Hey guys, welcome back. Saturday, we worked on the chopper yesterday. I mentioned in that video that I was going to probably have to make some more micarta. We're in the knife room right now, and I have put together about a foot square or so piece of micarta. We just got done saturating I use a black hand towel is all I use, and I made 2 layers. I didn't video it, but there's my press. It's just 2 pieces of wood. You can see we've got a piece of wood underneath, then we've got a sheet of parchment paper, then our 2 layers of the towel saturated in micarta, or in resin. And I went ahead and dyed the resin black this time because I have resin. So I have black alumilite dye. So we dyed the resin black. Then we put another sheet of parchment paper over that, another board, and then I've got these 2 steel weights that we put on top of that, and to press it all down. And you can see here, this stuff oozing out of here is from the plates. I've also got it back here. It's oozing out back here as well, where we pressed it down here with the plate. So I didn't video making that stuff because it's just kind of a hectic process. Once you start, you have to just get it done and get it out and get it pressed, and so it's just a matter of mixing up some resin. I use this. I've used fiberglass resin in the past, but it has an amber hue to it. If you've watched some of my other videos, you remember me telling you about the amber hue. It's okay if you use black, but if you want to use any kind of color with it, it changes the color because of the amber hue of the resin. This is clear polyester casting resin, and I've started making my micarta with that because it seems to work a whole lot better, and it doesn't mess with your colors. And since I had the black dye, I decided to dye the resin this time to help, just makes a color stronger in the black, because we want nice, sharp, crisp black liners, for our handle scales and that brass and that. So just wanted to show you there's that. Now we're going to go downstairs to the shop. We're going to get back on cleaning that knife up, and we're going to get it etched. So let's get down there. All right, guys. So you saw we had the micarta up there in the knife room curing out right now. I searched everywhere. I have some micarta. I just don't have the thin black micarta that I need for handle scales. So we got our knife all hardened yesterday. We got it tempered. She's good to go. Now we need to get it cleaned up again, which won't take much because we cleaned it up so nicely before we hardened it and tempered it. So we'll take it over to the bench, we'll get it cleaned up again, and then we're going to etch this thing with our old fingernail polish trick. I believe the way we're going to etch this knife is we're just going to drizzle fingernail polish over the blade where we're going to etch it, and let that cure up. Then we'll dip it in our quench, and we'll have an etched blade when we're through. So or dip it in our etchant. So let's go get to it. guys, we got our knife all cleaned up. I think that's good enough to etch it, because etching isn't a real smooth finish anyway, so that's clean enough. We can etch it. I mean, you can see some pretty good reflection in that. I'm not going to sit here forever with hand sanding and stuff. If I was going to leave it a finished clean blade, I'd probably just leave it like this. But I've done that hand sanding thing before, and it takes forever, and it makes my hands really sore because you're using your fingers. And so this is good enough to etch. So we've got the micarta upstairs making. We'll go ahead and get our etching mixed up. I've got this etching here. If you can see, it's full up to about here, but we're going to need more than that. So I've got another brand new bottle of ferric chloride here and a bottle of vinegar upstairs. I mix my etching half and half. Half that ferric chloride and half vinegar. So we'll get that mixed up, and we'll get our fingernail polish and get ready to etch this blade. So this is the container I bought yesterday, and it's deep enough that I can get the blade all the way in there. I didn't have anything that deep, so we don't need the handle in there, just the blade. But we'll see how much of this we have. I may not have to mix anymore, but I'm thinking I probably will. Oh yeah, definitely gonna have to. That's pretty close. So I ordered this quite a while back, just for kicks and giggles, and come to find out I need it, so. So we just got some apple cider vinegar. I just mix it half and half. It's just not quite as strong that way. I don't have to worry about ruining the blade. You could still leave it in there too long, but I always time how long I leave them in there, so that's probably not really a worry, but I don't really think I need to stir that, but we'll slosh it around a little just in case. That'll be plenty. So we'll put our lid back on this so it doesn't get knocked over or something. We'll set that aside for a bit. I etched my thumb a little bit. So we'll get our fingernail polish. We'll figure out how we're going to do that. I think I'm just going to drizzle it on there with just a random drizzle design, and we'll have to do one side, let it let it cure up for a little bit, then we'll turn it over to the other side. And then when both sides are cured up nicely, then we'll be able to put it in our etching. So we'll be back when we get ready to start drizzling some fingernail polish. Alright guys, we've got it all done up here with the fingernail polish. Believe me, I know it doesn't look like much right now, but she'll look a lot better when we get it out of the etch. So this kind of looks like a mess, but once we etch this thing, pull it out of the etch, I think you'll think it looks pretty good. So we gotta let this dry just a little bit more, and then we're gonna go put it in the etch and leave it in there for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. We'll pull it out, we'll clean it off, we'll sand it a little bit, we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, we've got our knife all painted up with our fingernail polish. I know it looks crazy, right? Take my word for it, it'll look nice when it's etched. And we're gonna have to put this pin stop right through here. We can get it through there. Now we're gonna dip it in here. Just like that. The pin stop will hold it in place, because we don't need to etch the handle. We just need to etch the knife. We're going to go ahead and pour just a little bit more etchant in there. Right to there. So there we go. And just like magic, in 45 minutes we'll come and pull it out of there and it'll look like this. So we'll neutralize this stuff. A little bit of Windex here. And now, since we've neutralized it, Let's neutralize it a little more. Look at that. That's from the acid etch. Now we'll, that's been in there for about 45 minutes. So we'll take it upstairs and we'll get our acetone and we'll clean this off and we'll see what we got. So let's go do that. All right guys, we pulled this thing out of the etch. We're gonna wipe this, scrub this fingernail polish off and see where we're at. You gotta love that acetone, man. Look at that. So we got all the fingernail polish off of this side. She looks pretty cool, right? We got a good etch. I could feel those ridges where the polish was. Pretty good ridge on there. Feel that. Nice, right?
Good. Looks good.
So we've got nice little ridges there. I had to put it back in. Normally I leave a knife in there for about 45 minutes. But I made a new solution where I split the stuff 2 to 1. I mean 1 to 1, 50-50. And maybe it's the different kind of vinegar I use, because I think last time I used that clear white vinegar. This time I used apple cider vinegar, so I don't know if that made a difference. But so I had to etch it a little longer than I normally would. But the etch came out real nice. There's good ridges there. When we sand this, it's gonna look really good. I know it looks kind of crazy right now, but that's the way it is when you etch. It's kind of a tribal looking pattern on here. I like it. Once we sand that up, I think that's going to look pretty good. Whoops, I smeared some stuff on here somehow. There we go. There's our etch. And you can feel some pretty good little ridges on there. Once we sand this, clean it up a little bit, it's going to be very nice. So there's our etch on our blade. The only place where it'll be down here, when we sharpen our final bevels, we'll have maybe 1/4 of an inch of clean steel down here. But I like that etch. I think it came out pretty cool. It's going to be kind of tribal looking. And that'll be nice. And we just did random on both sides, but I think we did it close enough that it's going to look pretty cool once it's done. All right guys, so we got our etching done. I think it came out pretty good. Kind of looks a little tribal. And just both sides don't match. It just is the way it is. I just painted it on there, how you saw in the video. Randomly, just kind of painted that on there. I think it looks pretty good. Of course, we'll have a bright stripe down here, maybe 1/4 of an inch, where we put our final bevels on when we get done. But we've got our handles all done here. I think it's looking pretty good. We've got our, not our handles, we've got our tang all drilled and ready to go. Got it etched up nicely. We still need to sand all this. It's not going to stay like this. We'll sand this and it'll look even better. But for today, that's going to do it. I put in quite a bit of work, and then a buddy of mine stopped over. Of course, I think you see him. You'll see that he's here in part of the video. But I think that looks pretty cool. We got to clean up the sand. We want that to be shiny. We got to clean this spine up. We want that to shine. You notice this is as deep as it went into the etch. And that's right about where the brass is going to be, right there. And that's what I wanted. So I had to buy that deeper container so that I could fit this in. So there she is, guys, etched up. We'll clean it up. Like I say, we'll sand this with some real fine grit sandpaper, because these dark areas aren't going to stay completely black like that. I know it kind of looks cool, but take my word for it, it'll look better once it's sanded some more and cleaned up. But it's going to make for a pretty cool chopper, I think. We get that brass on here, get our Coca-Cola wood on there, and we're going to have a pretty slick looking knife. And I can't wait to get it done. You see how good, just some Scotch-Brite pads, that's all we did. And you know, like I say, we could go through the whole meticulous thing of hand sanding for eternity to make these bright spots just glow. But you know, that's just so much work. And sanding on that tomorrow, and we'll start working on the handle scales and the brass pieces and all of that stuff. So thanks again for being here, guys. Stick around and see what we do tomorrow. That's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one.